Ashri,
Hi, Anna.
how are you doing?
Very good. I love starting our conversations like this.
That bright smile and the
Yeah.
laughter.
And that's because the problem is only going to come now. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Shri, as agreed, we will have this conversation for about 45 to 50 minutes. If required, we'll extend time based
Cool.
on what is
Yeah.
needed.
Hmm.
The recording is on with your
Yes.
prior permission.
Yeah.
I will use it for my own learning. I may take this to my mentor. And
Yes.
also, if required, I may send this to my evaluation.
Sure. Yes.
By end of this session, if you feel that you don't want this to be shared, please let me know and I will delete.
Okay. Sure.
Before we get started, what will make you feel safe to have this conversation, Shri?
I'm pretty safe. I've got water. Close the door behind me. So good.
No distractions.
Yeah. No distraction.
Yeah. So this is a supervision session, and I just want
Yes.
to let you know that. And what will be meaningful for you to bring as a topic for today's session?
Sure. I've been thinking, and I think I am in a situation in my coaching conversations today where I am not able to draw the line between what is my intuition and perhaps what could be my judgment. Can I give you an example? Will that
Yeah,
help?
go ahead.
Yeah. So most of the clients that I coach are corporate clients. Okay. Um, and I'm aware, even if as I'm saying this to you, that there is judgment coming up. But the truth, as I see it, is um, emotional quotient is a bit wanting with them, or rather, they're not as high emotionally aware as we are as coaches, because of course we are working on this day in and day out. And I'm just checking my phone to see if my phone is on silent. Yeah, okay. So the emotional awareness, or awareness is probably not very high with them. For example, if they are narrating an incident to me about, let's say, a very abusive boss, okay? And, if I want to check in with them saying, so what do you feel when this happens with you? They are not yet ready in a position to feel because they have still not begun to feel. It is all about narration and what is happening outside and all of that. So, to cut to the chase, therefore, what I then try to do when I'm having a conversation with them is I sometimes do feel what is a common pattern that is running. So, the example I wanted to give you is yesterday there was this very young startup founder who was speaking to me. And I say young because of his age. I heard him say something about his father. I heard him say something about his girlfriend. I heard him say something about his work, something about his cousins. All of that, I could see one common thread, which is I am not good enough. And even use scales, with me. He said on a scale of 10, I'm only 2. So I heard it all out. And then a couple of times I tried asking him, so what does it make you feel? What do you think is the belief that you're holding on to? Those questions were not flying with him. He was not able to get to answering those questions. Every question would lead him to giving me a different narrative. So therefore, it went from one pillar to another pillar. Okay, let me tell you what happened with my father. Okay, let me tell you what happened with my friend. And then at that point in time, after I had heard him out. It was a 1 hour conversation. 20 minutes I'd heard him out. Then I said, may I reflect a common pattern that I'm seeing here and tell me what is coming up for you. And then I reflected that pattern that came up for me. I said, what I'm hearing you say throughout is, I am not enough. Now, even as I said it, and that's what I want to discuss today, I wondered, Shri, is that really your intuition? Or are you rushing in to come to a conclusion? Because the moment I said it, he didn't deny it or he didn't oppose it. He said, "Oh, ma'am, I really don't know what it is. So if you are saying that is what it is, then that is what it is." And then I got a little worried. I just felt that is not ethical. It's not ethical for you to sell your thought to somebody else. Did you just make this boy believe he is not enough? So I stayed with that guilt a little bit. And he kept going with it. He was very happy about it. He kept going with it. Then he said, "What can we do?" I said, "What would you like to do? Um, what would action look like for you?" It ended. And then he has decided to take himself out on a date. That was the action he came out with. But I'm still wondering. And I am finding this happening in pretty many conversations, especially with people who I feel has never been exposed to reflections.
So, Shri, you started with this phrase, am I being judgmental or am I using intuition? And you narrated this client's incident. I heard three different things. Am I being ethical? Questioning the ethical aspect of coaching. The guilt is part of that. And then
Because
what
ethics
you
is
are
a big
going
core
through.
value for me.
What is that you're
Yeah.
going through your own well-being? And of course, there could be an underlying thing of this intuition. Hey, what is the competence in play while I'm having this conversation? So in today's conversation, we can look at the ethical aspect of it, or we can look at the competency aspect, or we can look at what is happening to your well-being, or maybe we can look at all of that because we have enough time to explore all of that. So when you walk out of this session today, what exactly would you like to take away?
When I walk out of today's session, I would like to get a sense of it myself, to know how should one express one's intuition without making it so much about my language. And I'm going back to this example. This boy would have never used this language of "I am not enough." He may have never realized it. He may have never realized what patterns are, what beliefs are. He doesn't even get it as of now. So let me just think through this a little more. Yeah. My worry is they are so vulnerable, they may not even know if I'm judging them. And so I don't want to use this stealth power which I have to influence their thinking. And I love what you brought, those three aspects, because I think this is interwoven for me. Ethics. I truly believe that a coach has to be intuitive. So that, the competency that says that you must be able to discern patterns and themes is one of my favorite competencies, because I feel that's what I'm doing. I'm the mirror, right? I'm your sounding board. And as you're sounding off to me, I'm just seeing where is it hitting more. So it's like, when they show you those cricket, when a batsman is getting runs, they keep telling you that when did you get a run? Where did you pitch that you got the run? So I feel that's who I am. I am being a reflective mirror for you. But am I misusing the power? Unconsciously. I'm not saying that if I'm doing it consciously. I just don't know where could judgment have come in versus where could true intuition have come in.
What is your understanding of the difference between intuition and judgment?
Judgment, I feel, is something that is stored in my awareness and my consciousness. It's a learned thing for me. It's my own belief systems. Intuition is where I have not dipped into my belief systems. I'm listening to you and I'm seeing a color. And I'm able to create something totally new with you is intuition for me. And I'll tell you why I'm getting worried. My worry is when I'm listening to a lot of conversations, somewhere, there is a signal in your brain that says, oh, this guy's story is very similar to that guy's story. Oh, this is a common pattern I'm seeing amongst leaders in corporates. Or this is a common communication problem, which is also not wrong, no? Which is also how patterns emerge. That's how social behavioral patterns emerge. Yeah, I know I'm probably rambling today, which I'm normally not. I'm normally very clear about what I want to say. I'm like, this is what I want to explore. Today is the first time I'm feeling that gray area. I'm like, what am I even trying to explore? I'm actually not answering your question, and I'm aware of that.
Okay, intuition comes from a place of not knowing. It's from the gut. There's no reasoning for your intuition.
I love what you said, but I think what I really wanted to express is intuition comes from a place of the unknown.
Exactly.
It's not knowing. I may know, may not know, but it's from the place of the unknown. Yeah.
Unknown. And judgment comes from a place where
Of known.
I have a lot of knowledge, and I'm going to play with that knowledge I have. Yeah. Okay. So I'm sure you are having so many conversations with so many people, and especially at corporates. What has made this particular thing important for you for today's conversation?
Because they trust me. And I am, like I told you earlier too, ethics is a very big value system for me. I want to embody the coaching mindset, which is I'm not advising, I'm not mentoring unconsciously or subconsciously. And they are so looking up to you for instant gratification, for that magic pill. That sometimes even when you reflect on an intuitive thought, they grab onto it saying, thank you for just letting me know. And then I wonder if I have limited potential for exploration. Because after that, they don't want to explore. They're like, oh, thank you. Okay, is that what it is, ma'am? Then can we work on it? Then I'm worried. I'm like, oh, did I cut this short? And when I don't cut it short and I'm exploring with them, I'm asking them more questions, I see that desperation on the other side of the screen, saying, do you know what it is? Because they come to you like a doctor, they want diagnosis.
So what I'm sensing is while you are looking at this relationship with the client as an equal partnership,
Yeah.
they are looking at you like an expert.
Yeah. 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 Yes. Yeah. And that is worrying me. Because I feel I'm answerable for my ethics. No one's judging me. No one's listening into my conversation, but I feel heavy. Yeah.
And where are you feeling that heaviness right now?
Yeah, right here. I just feel like shut up. Don't say anything, you know?
So, Shri, what we will do is let's bring the client in the room by way of we just taking a pause, sit in silence. Let's close our eyes, get our feet on the ground, take a few deep breaths in and out.
Mhm.
Take a few minutes and replay this entire episode that you have had with the client, whichever client that you narrated when you started the conversation. How did they appear in front of you when they came for the conversation? What was the real topic that they brought into the conversation? Who were you being in that conversation for the client? What were the questions that you were asking? What were their narration, their responses? And when you played your intuition and used your language and later reflected on it, what made you feel that, hey, is it intuition or is it judgment?
You want me to answer? You want me to just think?
Yeah, go ahead and open your eyes, share whatever that you want to share.
With many of them, and in this client also, what I see when the screen opens is a lot of nervous, anxious energy. There are a lot of things happening with them. They can't make sense of what is happening. What I see is they want to make sense of what is happening. How do I log in? 2 minutes before the call, I ask myself, what do I need to be prepared with? And I have to remind myself, I have to be prepared with no answers, just presence. So I remember very distinctly in this call also, I sat before my laptop 5 minutes and I said, just presence. And I have this beautiful window that overlooks a nice big ashoka tree, even when I'm sitting. All I do is I sit staring at the tree for like 2 minutes. I log in like 2 minutes and before, and I just sit staring at the tree, and then the client comes in. And immediately I sense this sense of reverence that comes in, you know, oh, finally you are here. I've been waiting for this session. And I know that gets me worried. And I think I physically run back 2 steps when that happens. Oh God. So I'm like, oh God, here they come looking for answers. That is there. And then they start talking about it, and I'm listening, listening, listening. They're pausing once in a while to look at my face and see, is she going to tell me now what to do? So yesterday he kept asking, are you going to tell me? Are you going to tell me? Am I talking too much? And I was like, no, keep talking, keep talking. And then at one point, I thought the narrative had to stop because it was story after story after story. And when I kept asking, so what would you like to explore in this session? How would you like this session to end for you today? What would a meaningful thing be for you to, walk away with? The answers I was getting took some time, but later it was, I want to know why all of this is happening to me. What behavior of mine is causing this? Then I took the liberty to weave it together and say, hey, I heard you say this, I heard you say that, I heard you say this. And everywhere, what was coming up for me intuitively was you feeling that you are lesser than the others. And then immediately pounced onto it. What should I do? If you're saying it, it must be right. So again, I had to push it back and say, what is making you feel it is right? So yeah, I was conscious throughout, saying, I don't want to sell this to him. But he was just waiting to hear something from me. And then we explored that as to what would a better situation look like? Where do you really want to be in the relationship? And, I also did a bit of exploration as to when is the last that you felt like this? Why does your relationship with the father remind you that you're always lesser? We did all that. But I realized that the client was not moving away from that narrative of, yeah, you're right. I always feel less about myself. At the end, I dropped it. I said, no, why am I fighting this? Let him, if he likes it, he likes it, he picks it up and he goes. At the end, he again asked me, he said, tell me what to do. And I said, why do you need someone to always tell you what to do? When someone tells you what to do, how is it helping you in your life? And then he said, then I don't have to think. And then I said that, okay, what is it about thinking? So then again, he was able to explore and say, yeah, you're right. I mean, I always run away from situations where I have to think. So we did a little bit of dance around that. And then finally, again, he said, what would you like me to do? I said, what would you like to do? And then he said, are you telling me I have to think for myself? So I said, is that what you're hearing? And then again, I felt so bad. I'm like, oh God, why is he hearing that? And I said, okay, so if you had to think for yourself, what would it look like? And he said, blank. I can't think for myself. And then he said, then I told him, so if that is what we are identifying today, that's the awareness you're having, that you can't think for yourself. Would you like to work on it? And then I felt, oh, why did I ask him to work on it? Does he want to work on it? Then I asked him, I actually went back and said, okay, I'm going to correct what I just said. Do you want to work on it? He said, yeah, I want to work on it. I said, so then what would it look like? So yeah, there was that, I felt I was making up. But I just felt he was clutching onto every straw I gave, that I was wondering that's when I felt, is it intuition? Is it judgment?
So Shri, let's take a step back, okay? So I heard you say that this client is coming to you all the time for answers. Okay. When you began this engagement, how did you contract for this engagement?
So the fact is, this client's mom is a coach herself. And she wanted me to coach him. So when he came to me also, I had a very free and frank conversation with him over a cup of tea saying, your mom wants me to be your coach, but what do you want? Then he also said that because you're my mom's friend, chances are I'm never going to like you. So, so it was a good conversation to start with. At the end of it, he said, you know what, I really like you. You're not like my mom at all. You're not telling me what to do. And I still remember that conversation very distinctly where he said, you've not told me a single thing of what to do. I thought I'm going to meet this one person who's going to tell me what to do in life. And I'm sick of my mom telling me that. So I did it. I explained coaching. I actually have some slides where I explain coaching, mentoring, consulting, teaching, did that. We had a 6-month contract of which he did all the 6 months. Then I told him, take a break. He wanted to renew, but I said, wean off a little bit because you've done a lot of work on yourself. See how the work is playing out for you. I will take it again. He came back to me within 3 months saying, I want to pick it up because it really helped me improve my business and my thinking, my mindfulness and everything. And now he's like, it's working. And you seem to be doing the right thing. So why don't you just tell me? So that's what it is.
Actually, he came to you and wanted to work with you because you're not going to tell him everything.
Yeah.
And now he's expecting you to tell something.
Yeah.
How are you playing that back to him, saying that, hey, client, in the beginning, you came to me because you didn't want me to tell anything. Now you're expecting me to tell everything, and you don't want to be thinking. What is going on?
So interesting you said that because yesterday at one point during the conversation, he said, because I don't know what to expect from coaching. Something we were saying, and then he said, so I stopped and I said, is that what it is? Should we talk once again about what to expect from coaching? And he said, no, I know what you're going to tell me. I know I have to do the thinking myself. So I said, so what do you want? Does that make you okay that you've got to do the thinking yourself because it's a coaching conversation? He said, yeah, okay, let's start again. So yeah, that reminding does happen. And I also, just give me a moment, please. One more. That reminding also happens once in a while because I have a contract with my clients agreement that they can call me on Saturdays between 11 to 2 in case they want to update me on something. Again, there's no advising, there's no mentoring, but sometimes clients just want to call you and tell you, hey, you asked us, this is what we agreed. We were going to work on this. And then this happened. Especially when clients have issues or situations like, I don't show up well in meetings. And then we talk about how, what they want to show up as. And then they'll tell me, so we'll call you and tell you how that meeting went. So I always tell them, don't call me at random time. Saturdays, 11 to 2 is, and I send them a calendarized invite saying you can call me 11 to 2 anytime, 5 minutes, we can chat. So whenever he calls me, and he diligently calls me on Saturdays, whenever he calls me for that 5 minutes also, and he says, so what do you think? I push it back and I say, what do you think? And then he laughs it off saying, oh, you're never going to tell me what you think. So he knows that constant reminder does happen with him.
So from whatever that you shared so far, say about this client, what I'm sensing is, though this person has been sent to you by the mom, since this person is running their own business.
Yeah, he's running his own business.
They must be sponsoring for the engagement.
No, he sponsors him.
That's what. Yeah, when I say they, the client is sponsoring for
their
engagement, and the mom is not sponsoring.
He pays his own money. Yeah. Mom is not sponsoring. Mom has in fact been so professional. She has never once called me and even asked me how's it going.
So mom just did the introduction and just got out of it, and the person is having a coaching engagement with you. Right?
Yeah. To be honest, I don't think the mom is even aware that one session, one program concluded. Now he started again. Yeah, I don't think she's aware. I don't tell her to. I don't tell her anything.
So through this relationship that you're having with this individual, what have you learned about yourself as a coach?
not just with him. I've heard this feedback from peer coaches. I've heard this feedback from my other clients that you have a knack for pulling out patterns. Because it came from a very senior person the other day, someone who I respect as a coach herself. And we had a 20-minute peer conversation because of one course that we are doing together. And she said, how did you pick up on that in like 5 minutes? So I am now beginning to accept it that perhaps I do have that skill of picking up a pattern when I'm hearing like the narrative, literally when I'm listening to somebody, the story just dissolves into air. I'm not listening to anything. I'm just listening to the behavioral pattern and I can pull it out. So yes, I know I have it. But with this coach, why I liked it is because she explored it. She said, oh, it's interesting you mentioned that. Okay, let me think. Am I doing this everywhere? Am I doing this here? Am I doing this there? So I didn't mind. Whereas with young, impressionable minds like this, and with corporate leaders who I coach, I am a little wary of doing that because they take it as the God spoken word. And then it worries me that I may have influenced their thinking. And I know I'm not God. It is intuition, but I'm also not always right. I'm not an astrologer here.
Well, what I'm hearing is I am able to pick up patterns. When I play back those patterns, I want to be very careful that they don't come across as judgments of mine.
Yeah. And I don't want someone to take it as the gospel truth because they perceive me to be the expert. Which is not a risk I run when I'm doing peer coaching, because no coach ever thinks the other person is an expert. They are in the exploratory phase. Whereas that behavior does not come across no matter how much you contract with them. I find that understanding is lacking with corporate clients.
So we've been in this conversation for more than 30 minutes, Sri.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Where has this exploration led to you so far?
Yeah. I think the first few minutes, the first 10, 20 minutes, even I was confused. But I like what just happened now because I don't think I'm worried about my intuition, is what is coming up for me now. I'm not confident about it, but I don't mind it. I actually don't mind playing it out. I am conscious sometimes when it is not the client's language. I'm very conscious about it. There's a lot of guilt when I've said something which is not the client's language. But I don't know of any other way to say it. Because beliefs and patterns are small things, It's an I am statement. Or it is a this is what life is statement. That's one thing I'm realizing, that that's probably an area I'll have to explore and see how best can I do this. And the second thing that I'm realizing about clients who, like I said in the beginning, who are not emotionally aware, is perhaps that's a risk I will run. And I just don't know if that is the right risk to run or not. Because people will take it to be the gospel truth.
So, Shri, in this conversation so far,
Mm.
what are you noticing about the way that I am playing my sense back to you?
It's gonna come on me. It's very funny, okay? But then, you know what? I truly think I'm a star coachee. Okay? Because I think I value this time with you. When you ask me a question, no, I really dig deep. Okay, what is he asking? Where am I supposed to go find this, this piece of gold that he's showing? I love coaching. Okay, I love coaching. I lap it up at every opportunity. I can offer myself up to anyone. So yeah, okay, let me just stop there. So I can offer myself up to anyone because I love this whole exploration bit. It's like I just love myself. And therefore, I know that when I'm in a session with you, there's a lot of reflection, reflection, reflection. You're always just playing back what I have said to you. And I noticed that about you. I learned that. But what begins to bug me or get my goat is when I do this with some kind of clients, then the reflection only stumps them. And I've also had people who tell me, yeah, you're telling me what I've just told you. Okay, it doesn't deter me because I tell them, yes, I'm telling you what you've just told me. And when I say that to you, what are you realizing about yourself? I do that. It gets difficult. And I think this refusing to do the work, that's how I'm being really nasty, judgmental here, just makes me exhausted.
So, Shri, here's the thing.
Mm.
I heard you say that they not willing to do the work makes me exhausted.
Mm.
Clients will come to you from very different places.
Right.
Somebody comes to you, they have a problem, they want a solution, and they're done with it, they want to move on.
Mm.
Some of them who are willing to go deeper, in a given day, in a given session, they may not be willing to go deeper. All this while they are willing to go deeper, and suddenly they know, today I want an answer.
Mm.
Yeah. So for you to expect the clients will go deeper with you in every session, whose agenda is that?
My agenda. My agenda. So yeah, I've actually had one client where until the 5th session, I didn't go deep with him because he was not going deep. 6th session, he asked me, ma'am, do you have, no, he called me Shri. He said, Shri, what is your reflection about our coaching session? So I told him, I said, you're asking me how I am feeling? He said, yes, I'm asking you how you're feeling. I said, I'm sitting on the shallow end of the pool with you, and we are just doing pitting, patting on the water. Huh? I said, yeah. We're just sitting here and dipping our toes. And I have invited you many times to the deep end. And I can see that there is a lot of resistance to go to the deep end. I'm not going to take you there and drown you. It really made a difference to the session. He said, let me think about what you just said.
How did he make sense out of the metaphor that you used?
I think I'm good with visualizations. You know that about me. I can actually put someone on an aeroplane and take them for a ride. And I did that with him. But we're just sitting here and doing pitter patter.
So how can you bring this strength of yours to
Hmm.
communicate what you want to communicate with the client that is coming to you for answers all the time?
I could use a lot more creativity. And that comes to me very easily. I think I'm a stand-up comedian coach when it comes to that. I can really use a lot of creativity. Yeah.
Right. So we've been spending a lot of time on what is going on with you and what is going on with the client and what is happening in the relationship. If you use the intuition and communicated your intuition without coming across as judgment, what will change for the client?
I think I would be giving him a new specs lens to look at the world through. You know what you just asked me now about my strength, this creativity. And my problem was using a language which the client has not used. However, I don't feel guilty painting a picture or using a metaphor. That doesn't make me feel guilty. Like even with this coachee, this young person yesterday, I can immediately think of creative visualizations with him. Like I can, even as you're saying, I could think that, I see a person who doesn't want to look inside, but is going and asking everyone over there, hey, what do you see behind me? Well, all he has to do is turn around. And I could have just said this. Why are you doing this? What makes you go to the person and say, look behind me, but you will not turn around and look at what is the picture? And I think that would have really made him sit up and say, huh, what? What did you just say? I can do that, but I didn't do that. So maybe I need to do that.
Yeah, now with this realization, if you're able to communicate the way that you feel that we'll understand, what will change for the business that he's running?
Oh, a lot. A lot, because he has a lot of he has some very creative ideas. The boy is doing very well for himself. In fact, one of our biggest turnarounds in the first program that we did, 6 sessions that we did, was how he found a renewed interest in his business. And now he's doing very well. So I do think that if I help him to get that clarity now into his own head, with his personal relationships, that will really put him at a lot of ease. And he will be able to see himself a lot better, why he's like this. Yeah, I don't know why I've stopped. I do a lot of creative, and that's why I say I'm a star coachee. Because when it's a when it's a coaching session, I'm all, I'm all Shakuntala and everybody else, like I'm all characters of the Mahabharata and Ramayana myself. I think I see it as comedy. And I feel, is it the right thing to do when someone is having a conversation with you? Yeah. But that was my strength even when I was leading a sales team. That was always my strength. I would just make my teams do role plays. Saying, okay, you go to the client and the client says no. Describe the client to me. What did the client eat for breakfast? What do you think the client had, how do you think the client would have slept the previous night? And wacko things I used to ask my team, and they used to be rolling with laughter, but they would really come up with answers saying, you know what, we've got this, we are going to go try this out. We will try it like this, we will try it like that. I just don't know why I stopped doing it.
So, Shri, we are left with about 10 minutes or so. Where are we right now from what is that you wanted to take away?
In a funny place. Yeah, actually, I think I was carrying a lot of guilt, to be honest. I was like, am I becoming I worry that I can become an expert too soon. I'm just a little conscious that coaching is never about mastering the art of coaching, and that coaching is all about coming up with childlike presence every time. And I was carrying a worry that if my intuition or judgment or whatever that I was calling it becomes far too frequent, I might just end up having conversations where I'm unknowingly just telling people what I see. And I didn't want to go there. But now I feel no, that's not, yeah, that is my worry. But I think what I didn't have was a tool, and I realized that this is a tool that I have. That I can always try on creative visualizations, metaphors to play back what I'm hearing. And when I can do that, I think people can see themselves better using a different pair of lens. Because I think when I'm playing back, like you play back to me, maybe I'm a little more emotionally intelligent, emotionally aware, that I see it. When you play it back, I see it. But somebody else is not able to see. So I'll have to play it back slightly differently, is what I'm really becoming aware of where I started from.
So I'm hearing that as, let me play back whatever I have to play back, what I'm sensing in the language or the, for a lack of a word, maybe method, in the way my client will make sense and not use my own language.
Yeah. Because my endeavor is to help the client to see the situation better. But I do think that with the clients that I am attracting, they are probably, it is not helping them to see the situation better when I just play it back to them. So I will have to do something else or try another method to get them to see it better.
The different lens is what I heard with this new
different
awareness.
Lens. Yeah. So I'm not changing the picture. I'm just. Yeah, I think my worry was, am I changing the picture for you? You're seeing black and I'm saying, no, you're seeing white. I'm not changing anything.
So with this new awareness, what will be different going forward for you with this client and other clients, the way that you're going to play back your intuition?
Hey, I love visualizations. I think I'm going to enjoy coaching. Because stories blur for me. You know that Tare Zameen Par, that movie, where this boy is sitting with a book and fishes are flying and all of that? It happens to me. So many times I thought, am I on the spectrum? What is this problem I have? It happens to me. So when people are talking, I see that. Like I see elephants and I see horses and I see stuff. So now I feel maybe I should just tell them.
Sure. Yeah.
And when when you're talking, I felt like you and I were walking in the jungle. And then I thought, in front of this big tree, you're getting stuck. Let me just see what happens.
Right, right. So Shri, we are running short of time. I really want to acknowledge the fact that you just went and dug into places and pulled out stuff and found some new awareness and you have put some action.
Gold. Yeah. I love gold. Yeah.
So how would you like to summarize this entire conversation and wrap it up for you?
Thank you for holding space. Thank you. I didn't feel once judged by you. So now I know what it is like to be a person who does not judge anybody. And I do think I don't judge. Now I'm a little reassured that I'm not judging. I'm actually just playing out an intuition, but I've learned that I can play it out differently. And that is a strength I have. It's not something I have to learn. And I'm now looking forward to conversation. I just can't wait to get on to the next conversation and try it on someone. Of course, I'm not going to force try it. I'll try it if it is appropriate.
Yeah. From a place of, I don't know what the client will come and ask me for answers.
Yeah.
Now I'm in a place where I can do something different.
Yeah.
So when we meet next time, just let me know how it went and then.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. And you have my permission to share this for teaching, mentoring, whatever that you want to do.
You're welcome.
Okay.